year 1284, the prosperous town of Hamelin faced a terrible plague of rats. When a mysterious piper appeared, offering to rid the town of its vermin for a fee, the desperate townsfolk readily agreed. But when they refused to pay the piper his due, they learned the terrible price of a broken promise, one that would haunt them for generations to come. Welcome to the ancient town of Hamelin, where the cobblestone streets echo with the footsteps of history and the whispers of a dark legend. Our story begins in a time of prosperity and plenty, when Hamelin's granaries were full and its coffers overflowing. But beneath the town's wealth lay a growing shadow, a plague of rats that threatened to consume everything in its path. Enter the Pied Piper, a figure cloaked in mystery and magic. With his enchanted pipe, he promised to rid Hamelin of its vermin for a price. But when the town's leaders broke their word, they unleashed a curse that would steal away their most precious treasure, their children. Join us as we unravel the haunting tale of the Pied Piper, a story of greed, betrayal, and the terrible cost of a broken oath. But beware, for in Hamelin, the echoes of the past are never far from the surface, and the Piper's song still lingers on the wind. Before we dive deeper into this chilling tale, let me invite you to experience the story as our ancestors did, through the power of visual storytelling. In just a moment, you'll witness the events of 1284 unfold before your eyes. The desperate town plagued by rats, the mysterious piper with his enchanted melody, and the terrible price of a broken promise. Watch closely as history comes alive. Notice the details, the piper's shifting, colorful clothes, the hypnotic power of his music, and the haunting silence that followed. For in these details lie the clues to understanding why this story has survived for over 7 centuries. So settle in and let us transport you back to that fateful winter in Hamelin, where a simple promise would change everything forever.
The winter of 1284 hung heavy over Hamelin, a prosperous trading town nestled in the heart of Lower Saxony. But beneath its wealth lay a festering problem: rats. They swarmed through cellars and granaries, decimated food stores, and brought disease to every corner of the town. The desperate townspeople had tried everything: poison, traps, even cats, but nothing stemmed the vermin tide. On a bitter January morning, as frost etched delicate patterns on window panes, a peculiar figure appeared at the town gates. His clothes were a patchwork of colors that seemed to shift and dance in the weak winter light, and at his hip hung a simple wooden pipe. The stranger's eyes held an unsettling gleam as he presented himself to the town council, promising to rid Hamelin of its plague for a sum of 50 gold guilders.
Name your price, anything. Just rid us of this filth.
50 gold guilders.
The councilman, fat with pride and tight with coin, agreed readily enough. After all, what was 50 guilders compared to the damage the rats were causing? They drew up a contract, sealed with wax, and waited with promises. When the stranger began to play his pipe, the sound that emerged was like nothing the townspeople had ever heard, a melody that seemed to weave between the worlds of wake and sleep. The rats emerged from every crack and crevice, their small bodies twitching in time with the ethereal music. Like a dark river, they followed the piper through the streets and into the rushing waters of the Weser, where they drowned by the thousands. But when the piper returned for his payment, the council's tune had changed. Anyone could have led a few rats to water, they scoffed, offering him a mere fifth of the promised sum.
10 guilders.
For a day's piping.
Be grateful for what we give you. The piper's face remained eerily calm as he turned away, but those close enough swore they saw his eyes turn as black as midwinter midnight.
You'll regret breaking your word.
A promise is a binding thing. You will learn its price.
He disappeared for months, and the town celebrated its liberation from the rats.
50 guilders for a tune, the gall of him!
Let the rat-catcher have his walk. We have our coin clean.
Life returned to normal until the morning of St. John and St. Paul's Day. While the adults attended church, the piper returned. This time, his melody was sweeter than honey, more enchanting than a mother's lullaby. 130 children, from toddlers to teenagers, emerged from their homes with glazed eyes and dreamy smiles. Down the crooked streets they danced, following the piper's tune. Their parents, trapped in church by the sermon, would later recall hearing a strange music floating on the summer air. But by the time they rushed outside, their children were gone.
Emil? Where is that music coming from?
Anna? No!
Some say the piper led them into Koppenberg Mountain, which sealed behind them forever. Others whisper that he took them to distant Transylvania, where they founded a new settlement. The darkest tales suggest they met the same fate as the rats, their small bodies carried away by the Weser's cruel current. What remains beyond doubt is the town's grief. The street where the children last danced became known as the Street of Silence, where no music was permitted to play for over 3 centuries. The town records mark time from that terrible day, and generations of mothers warned their children about making promises they didn't intend to keep. Today, Hamelin still bears the scars of that long-ago betrayal. The ancient rat-catcher's house stands with its inscription, Anno 1284, on the day of Saints John and Paul, the 26th of June, 130 children born in Hamelin were led away by a piper wearing multicolored clothes to Calvary near the Koppen and lost forever.
So you see, my love, a debt is always paid.
Promises kept, and that sometimes the highest price for an adult's dishonesty is paid by their children. In the end, the 50 guilders saved by the council's deceit cost them something far more precious, a price that haunts Hamelin to this day.
The story of the Pied Piper of Hamelin is more than a simple cautionary tale about the importance of keeping one's promises. It is a haunting reminder of the fragility of the bonds that hold our society together and the terrible price we pay when those bonds are broken. At its heart, this is a story about the consequences of greed and short-sightedness. The town leaders of Hamelin, so focused on their own prosperity and status, failed to see the larger picture. In breaking their word to the piper, they shattered the fundamental trust that allows communities to function, and in doing so, they doomed their own children. But the tale of the Pied Piper is also a powerful allegory for the relationship between the generations. The sins of the fathers, it suggests, are visited upon their children, a sobering reminder of the responsibility we bear to those who come after us. In our own time, as we grapple with the challenges of a rapidly changing world, the lessons of Hamelin seem more relevant than ever. In an age of broken promises and eroding trust, we would do well to remember the fate of those long-ago townsfolk and the terrible price they paid for their dishonesty. For in the end, the true moral of the Pied Piper's tale may be this, that the choices we make today have consequences that echo far into the future, shaping the world we leave to our children and grandchildren. It is a reminder to act with integrity, to keep our word, and above all, to remember the sacred duty we owe to the generations yet to come. So let us take heed of the piper's haunting melody, and let us strive to build a world where promises are kept, where trust is nurtured, and where the laughter of children is never silenced by the greed and folly of those who came before. For in doing so, we may yet avoid the fate of Hamelin and ensure a brighter dawn for all who follow in our footsteps. The piper's haunting melody still echoes through time, reminding us that this isn't just ancient history, it's a mirror reflecting our own world. Every day we make promises, and every day we choose, honor our word, or find excuses to break it when convenient. The townspeople of Hamelin thought they were clever, cheating a stranger out of 50 guilders. They couldn't imagine their broken promise would echo through centuries, their children's fate becoming legend. The most chilling part? The piper showed them exactly what they'd lost when they chose greed over honor, their future, their legacy, their hope. So the next time you make a promise, remember the sound of that pipe. Our words have power, our promises have weight, and our choices ripple forward into tomorrow. The children of Hamelin never came home, but their story lives on, whispering a warning across the centuries. Keep your promises, honor your word, because somewhere in the shadows, the piper is always listening. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the darker corners of history. Subscribe for more haunting legends that echo through time. Until next time, may your promises be strong and your word be true.